Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you've probably noticed a couple movie posters hanging behind me. The one directly behind me I rotate out from time to time, but the one off to the side has always remained the same. If you can't tell, it's for the 2009 horror comedy film Zombieland. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but Zombieland is my all-time favorite movie. So, I thought it was about time that I make a video talking about why it is my favorite film, and talk about favorite movies in general. This is going to be more of a personal video, so I'd love to hear about your favorite movies too in the comments down below. So, let's take a look at it. Growing up, I was never the biggest fan of movies. I saw my fair share of Disney classics, 2000s animated movies, and a handful of comedies, but I didn't seek out anything out of the ordinary. If I was consuming some type of media, it was primarily video games with a dose of TV shows and sports. All throughout middle school and junior high, my favorite genre of video game was zombies. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Dead Island, Dying Light, and Call of Duty Zombies are probably some of my most played games of all time. Surprisingly, I was never a big fan of The Walking Dead. I think I've maybe seen one season of that show, but it just never clicked with me. So, a few years after Zombieland came out, I was at my local video store and saw it sitting on a shelf. I took it home, put it in the DVD player, and loved every single second of the movie. I tried really hard to remember if this was my first R-rated movie. I feel like it could be, but I probably watched some R-rated comedy movie or a TV edit of another film I just can't recall. I was around 14 years old at the time, and no movie ever clicked for me like Zombieland did. I ended up buying a personal copy on DVD so I could re-watch it. I fondly remember going on a camping trip with my family and staying up super late to watch all of the special features and commentary tracks on my portable DVD player. It made me realize how many different people work on a film, all of their different roles, and overall just how much effort it takes to create a movie. I wish I had some deep underlying meaning of why the movie means so much to me, but there really isn't a whole lot of backstory outside of what I just said. I think the movie mostly clicked for me because it featured zombies and at its core is a coming of age film, which are always some of the best watches when you're a teenager. My love of this film did end up blossoming into my love of horror movies. I remember checking out all of the 2000s gore fests after Zombieland. Saw, House of Wax, Wrong Turn, and Hostel were some of my first horror experiences. I think that's why I've always had a soft spot for the splatter films. They really were my first horror movies. My grandma was also a big horror fan, and she introduced me to many of the classics. Her two favorites being Nightmare on Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We would stay up all night during the summer months marathoning different franchises and ghost hunting TV shows. All of this just sort of snowballed into me wanting to explore different areas of film and expand my knowledge on the medium. Even though I've seen many great films over the past decade, you'll still find Zombieland and the original Evil Dead in my top 4 on Letterboxd, as those two movies truly define my love of film. Like I said in the intro of this video, I would love to hear about your favorite movies in the comments below and the stories behind them, so make sure to do that. But now, let's talk about Zombieland itself. Zombieland is best described as a road trip coming-of-age horror comedy. The film follows Columbus, played by Jesse Eisenberg, who tries to navigate Zombieland, a nickname he gave Earth after humans started turning into flesh-eating monsters when a mutated mad cow disease strain spread across the globe. He prides himself on a set of rules he created that help him survive, and we learn some of them throughout the film's runtime. As he tries to travel back home to his hometown of Columbus, Ohio to check on his parents, he runs into other survivors trying to make it to their own zombie-free locations. Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin round out the main cast with their characters of Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock. There are only 2 other actors that have any notable screen time in this film. Bill Murray is one of the best cameos of all time, and someone who has since had a major downfall in Hollywood, Amber Heard. This small, star-studded cast, paired with a runtime just shy of 90 minutes, makes for a fun, quick-paced experience. Even though Zombieland crosses many genre lines, it is a comedy-first movie in my opinion. With the cast being as small as it is, it allows a lot of room for interaction and banter between the 4 main actors. From Twinkies to shot celebrities and Dale Earnhardt-inspired cars, there is always some sort of comedic beat taking place. I would honestly be surprised if writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick didn't take inspiration from Valve's hit video game Left 4 Dead. That game is built on slaying hordes of the undead while characters quip back and forth at each other, and this almost feels like a more fleshed out version of that. Many of the jokes in Zombieland still stick the landing and are enjoyable almost 15 years after its release. Whether it's Columbus calling Tallahassee a cock-blocking robot,
You were like a giant cock-blocking robot, like developed in a secret fucking government lab.
screaming about Twinkies,
No Twinkies.
or Bill Murray roasting his role in Garfield,
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
many moments still make me chuckle like the first time I watched it. The film does really flesh itself out from being just another comedy film with its fun gore and heartfelt beats. In an interview, director Ruben Fleischer described the film as a John Hughes movie with a zombie background. That really is an accurate description, as a bulk of this movie is dedicated to showing Columbus as this anxiety-filled college student that struggles with human interaction and finding his place in the world. Pairing that sort of character with a bloody zombie film is a really fine line to walk. If it tipped too much towards Columbus's struggles, it would have a really weird tone. But if it focused too much on horror and scares, every emotional moment would feel artificial and forced. As someone who is a massive horror and coming-of-age movie fan, I cannot think of another film that even comes close to matching this film's story and energy. Even though coming-of-age horror comedy is a very niche subgenre, I would be shocked if anything could top what Zombieland accomplished, especially in a 90-minute runtime. Another thing I've always loved about Zealand is the use of CGI with Columbus's rules. Incorporating all of the rule pop-ups into the environment was a nice touch, and I think that is why so many of them have remained relevant in pop culture today. Rule number 32, enjoy the little things, is ingrained into my mind, and I don't think it would have been if not for that cool idea. I can't think of many other movies that have added small CGI touches like Zombieland did. I guess Scott Pilgrim vs. the World did, but that film added more comic book effects as that's what the film was aiming for. It's just another thing that makes this movie so unique and why I love it so much. Also, I can't make a video about this movie without talking about how insane the cast is. The film had a decent budget at an estimated $23 million, but there is absolutely no way they would have been able to pay this cast if they waited an extra year or two to go into production. Abigail Breslin was just coming off of Nims Island and her Oscar-nominated performance in Little Miss Sunshine. Emma Stone's career was just getting started with her roles in Superbad and Paperman. The same can be said for Jesse Eisenberg, whose notable films were 2004's The Village and 2005's The Squid and the Whale. Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray were already well-established actors by 2009, but it's crazy to think how far they have all gone in the decade since. You can imagine how shocked I was when they were able to get the crew back together in 2019 for Zombieland Double Tap. In case you were wondering, the budget doubled for the sequel. But 4 Oscar-nominated or winning actors in a horror comedy is just something that doesn't happen all the time. I honestly cannot think of a horror comedy offhand that has 2 Oscar-nominated actors, but I'm sure one of you can let me know in the comments below. Zombieland is a movie that means a lot to me. It's the film I can credit for making me the film fan I am today. Beyond that, I think Zombieland is a perfect time capsule for the zombie craze of the late 2000s. It is also one of the more unique movies of all time, with its star-studded cast and genre-bending themes. It's a movie that has so far stood the test of time and should remain one of the best horror comedies from that period. The film may not have broken any boundaries or box office numbers, but it hit the nail on the head with what it set out to accomplish. I'm happy to say that Zombieland is my all-time favorite movie. I want to thank you for checking out my review on my favorite movie of all time, Zombieland. Let me know your thoughts on Zombieland in the comments below, along with your favorite film. While you're down there, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way in helping me out. Thank you, and have a good one, everybody.